So today we are going to learn about versioning, how we can do versioning in S3, and how can we delete the data and how can we save the data in S3 both. What is versioning? Anybody know what is by versioning and when to use versioning? Yes, no. What is my versioning? AWS S3 support versioning of the data. So what is mean by versioning in general according to you? Okay. So what if I upload the data with the same name? I am uploading a file. Okay, let me create a small file and I am adding just one line. This is new file and I'm uploading this data to S3. Okay, I'm uploading this file to S3. This is the file. Now let's say I have updated something and I'm uploading the data again with the of the file again. What will happen with the file? Okay, what will happen with the file? This is a file. Let me make it public if possible. No, I can't make it public. Okay. Anyhow, this is the file. I will open you this. So this is new file. It contain only one line. Now I am uploading this file with the same name again. What will happen with the data? Will be it deleted? It will be overwritten? What will happen? This is a file. Let me open it for you. You can see it is overwritten. In your laptop also this happens. If you are copying the file with the same name in the same folder, it overwrites the existing data, right? It overwrites the existing file. Simple. This is a scenario. Now, what if you don't want this feature? What if you want to preserve the previous file? The file which was uploaded previously, you want to preserve that file as well as you want the latest file. You want both the copy of the file. Now you will say, sir, why we require both the copy? Let's assume that you are working on a project. You are working on a project. Mostly you might have worked on project and you might have created some assignment. What do you generally do while creating the project? You, generally you save the file and it overwrites on the disk, or sometimes you create a version of that. First draft, second draft, third draft, final one, final two. Some Sometimes you do like that. You're not always overwriting it. You are creating some version of the same file. Does it make sense to you? Fi- uh, Version number one, version number two, and so on. Agree? In your final year project, generally in college, we create na final one, final underscore final two, final three, submission one, submission two, submission three. We are creating the copy of that file. We are not overriding. We are creating versions of the file. Why do we create version? Can anybody explain me why we create a version of the same file or same document? Agree, agree. So basically, if you are creating, you are modifying the file, and there are chances that you modify the file completely. Or if you are working on a presentation, right now you have created one presentation, one file, which has 10 slides. Now after that you realize that let's modify it something more effective, and you are completely, you have changed all the format, you have changed all the background of the PPT, and you save it, but you are not sure that the current one is good or the previous one was good. So you preserve both the versions, right? The previous version and the latest version, because it's not possible to go add to the previous version by using Control Z every time. You keep different version of your file, that which is better, we will go with that. Or let's preserve till this point, save this data, and let's enhance this thing. This is the final, this is working code, or this is working file. Let's save this point, and if you do any further modification, let's have it in different file, so that if anything goes south, this is my working file available with me. So this is the concept of versioning, and we are doing this on a daily basis. Just, I'm not, nobody has given you the name, or you might not aware what versioning indirectly means. Does it make sense now? What is mean by versioning? Anybody? So here, the file which I have created right now. So this is the first line, and I have saved as file number 1. And after that, what should I do? Sometime I will save this as file number 2. So I have now both the copies of the data. File number 1, which contain only one line, file number 2, which contain two lines, right? So here I'm saving this file. In the for future, I can use this file. Now I'm updating this thing. Now after this, so instead of overwrite saving on the same file, we create a save as with different version. Agree? Is it clear what is versioning? Now you have 3 copies of your file. 1, 2, 3. Anybody has any question on this? Hmm. Uh, you can say that means it is the same file in general or same content. Okay. Right now I've given number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay. In reality, the file name will be same, but there will some extra information. It's called version ID, which will segregate your information. We'll talk about that. But in versioning, it basically means whenever you are doing some modification on the file, you are creating a new copy of that. Simple. But if I'm in your Windows or in your local system, if I'm overwriting, if I'm changing anything, I can't overwrite here, right? I can't save with okay. I can't save file with the same name. I have to create different file name. Then only I can create a version. It's as good as different file, right? Now coming to S3. Okay, coming to S3. So I have uploaded this file. If I upload the file with different name, it's a different object altogether for S3, right? It's a different object, different file name, different object. It's not a version. Now, S3 provide you a version of the files. The S3 has a feature called versioning. Amazon S3 has a feature called versioning. What is mean versioning in S3 now? Versioning is a meaning of keeping multiple variant of an object with the in the same bucket. You can use versioning to preserve, retrieve, and store every version of every object stored in S3 bucket. With versioning, you can easily recover both unintended user action and duplicate failure or application failure. Now, let's enable versioning. Or right now, I'm not enable versioning. What will happen? Like this is a one file. Okay. Now something goes south with this file. Okay. So right now this is a one file and you have uploaded this file. This file is working perfectly. Now a new production came in picture or new project. You have done some enhancement in the file and you have uploaded again with the same name. So previously it has only one line. Now it has two lines. So what will happen in general? It will overwrite the file. Yesterday you have uploaded one file and it was working good. Today you did some modification and you have uploaded this file with the same name. What will happen with the previous file? The previous file will be deleted from S3 and whatever the file you have uploaded, it will be there and you can just read that file. Agree? Something like this. You can see there are line number 2 is there. Now, after production, you find out that the file which you have uploaded have some bug and you have to roll back to the previous file or previous version, the file which was running yesterday. Can you do that right now? Did you got the scenario? Can you roll back to previous file or previous version of this file? No. As of now, no. So in Amazon you have a versioning. So what versioning do? Let's see. Okay, before enabling the versioning, let me show you something. Okay, I'm not going to enable this thing. I am going to enable versioning on this bucket. Let's delete all the files from here. And before enabling the versioning, I will show you a couple of things. Yeah, let me upload a file, simple file in this bucket as well. This is my public bucket and I'm just making this file public. That's it. It's not required. I'm just making this object public to show you. Okay, this is the file. On this bucket right now, versioning is not enabled. If you go to the bucket property, you can see versioning is disabled. Now, if you go to the object and go to, there is an option called versioning on the object. Now you will see there is nothing written on the versioning part, and it is saying the bucket does not have any the versioning is not enabled on the bucket. Now simple, let's go and enable the bucket. Versioning on the bucket, enable. That's it. Save. Go to the bucket, go to the bucket versioning, and just enable it. That's it. Now go to the current. We'll go to the current object. Let's create one test file in local. Hmm. Okay. This is my test file, test version, test version. Okay, let me upload this file in S3. If you want, you can make the object public, it's your choice. I will just want to show you. Mm, Let me make it public, it will be easy for you to understand. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay, so this is a file which I have uploaded right now. If you click here, go to the versions. Now, after we have enabled the versioning, you can see here it is giving there are one version for this file. There is one version for this file, and you can see a version ID, the time, and what is the size of this file. If you go to the property and open the object URL, because I have made this object public, paste. Now you can see I can have the content of the file, right? Now let me modify the file again and upload it. Now what? Tell me what will happen. It will it override the file or it will create a new version of the file? The file name is same, test underscore version. What will happen now? If you see here, it's again same file, but the content has increased and it has overwritten. So what is the benefit of versioning, enabling the versioning? Let's go to the file and click on the version. Now, if you see, there are two versions of the same file. If you check the timing, this was a previous version with 17 KB, 17 bytes, and it was uploaded at 27 minutes 41 second. And the latest, the current one, was uploaded at 29 minute and 14 second, and it has more data as compared to the this one. So my file, my object is pointing to this version of the file, which is I just uploaded. So if I open the object publicly, copy object, what it will present? It is pointing to the latest version. It is pointing to the latest version. But what if I want to access the previous version? Go to the object, go to the version, click on the version which you want to access now. Click on the version which you want to access. So this is the old version. If I click on that version ID, you will see now version ID. This is the file and it is accessing this version of the file. It is as good as underscore one underscore two underscore three. This is it is a version ID. Now everything is quite same. Just copy the object URL of this. Now you will see here the object URL, the version ID is appended. Here the version ID is appended, and if I paste it in the browser, you can see till generally this is the object key. Now if I'm appending the version ID, it will open that version of the file. Got it? So I can anytime access the old versions, and if you want we can go back to the older version. How can we roll back to older version? I'm going to explain you. Let me upload one more file with the same name with extra information. Okay, so this is the third time I'm uploading. So here it's not actually overriding. What is it is Amazon is doing? Amazon is keeping preserving the previous version of the file, and it is uploading the exist new file as well. So it is not overwriting the file now. It is not directly replacing. If you go to general, if you go to object and click on general URL without any version, that means it is always going to point with the latest version of the file. Now if you go to the object versions, now you can see there are three version ID, 1 2 3, and you can check the timing, you can check the size. This version was containing one line, this version contain three lines, this version contain uh, two and three lines. All three has same name. That's why the versions are created. Got it? So as you can see, the current version is pointing to the latest file. This object is pointing to this version of the file. That's why if I click on the public open URL, it will open the latest the version ID which is pointing the current tag. You can see the current tag is attached to this version. So whenever a public URL is clicked or anything you work with object, it is you will fetch this information from this version of the file. But if you want to access individual object or individual version apart from the current version, click on that version. If I want to access this, I will click on this. Now you can see the version ID is here. It is representing that you are accessing this version ID of the file. And if you click on the object URL, it will give that information only. If I go to the other version, let's say this one, and I click on the public object. Let me close everything. With the version ID, it is showing me two lines. So what basically Amazon is doing? Amazon is preserving your previous version as well. Now why we require this thing? Do you think it is useful to save the version or not? Yes or no? And second thing, how many will Amazon charge you for only one object here or all the three versions you have kept? If you can see, this file has 54 bytes, but if you go to the versions, it has 54, 36, 17 as well. So how much data or how much charge Amazon will do for your S3 bucket? Will it charge you for 54 KB or it will charge for all the files? How much Amazon will charge you for single object or all the versions of the file? Tell me. According to you, Amazon will charge you for single object or all the version of the object? Single version or all the versions? Okay, one answer single. इतना समझ आया अभी वर्जनिंग क्या होता है, how versioning works in general? So if you keep on uploading the file with the same name, it will be now it will not delete the previous version, it will create a new version of the file and the previous version will be preserved. Clear? Now coming to charging of S3. Will S3 charge you only the current version file size or all the version of the file? So Amazon is creating a backup for you. Amazon has created two backups of this file, but these files are there in S3. So Amazon will charge you for the total amount of files. 54 plus 36, that is 80, plus 17, that is 87. So you have stored 87 bytes of data in S3 right now for this object. So if you keep on increasing the versions, you are adding the data in S3, you are not deleting the previous version. That means you will charge for all the versions of a given object. So total amount of data stored in S3. Because Amazon is not deleting this thing, na? If you are uploading 1 GB, 1 GB, 1 GB file, Amazon is keeping this data for you, 3 GB. So Amazon will charge for all the files. Is it clear? Yes or no? How versioning works? Remember this file we uploaded before enabling the versioning? This object was uploaded before we enable versioning on bucket. What do you think? What is the version ID here? Let's go to this object. Remember we visited this object and it was showing that enable the versioning, then only I will show the versions. Now what it's showing? It's showing version as version ID and the version ID is null here. Why? Previously it was not showing anything. Now it is showing something, but the information is something like version ID is not is null. Why version ID is null and what is mean by null? Why it is showing version ID as null? Simple. Simple because this object was uploaded before the versioning was enabled on the bucket, right? That means Amazon did not create any version ID for this. Amazon did not created any version ID for this file. That's why it's a null as and versioning is there, but this has only this. It doesn't contain any version ID. If you upload now more files with the same name, the version will be there, will be created. If you want, we can check it out. Version file number one, upload. If you click here, you can see again there is one file, one version with null tag, null ID, another with some version IDs. So all the objects which are uploaded before the versioning was enabled will have version ID as null. Objects which are uploaded before versioning is enabled on a bucket will have version ID as null. Simple. Now if you see here, I have uploaded the same file again. Even the content is same, not about the name, but the content is same. Still Amazon created the version. Why? Should Amazon check the content of the file or it is blindly creating a new version? What do you think? And what it should do? If you're uploading a file, there is no modification in the file. I didn't did any change. Still Amazon created a version. Why? What do you think? It should only preserve the file with the change or it should preserving all the files? S3 doesn't have intelligence about reading the file. It doesn't know the content of the file. Did you modify the file or not? Amazon doesn't know. Every file is a new file for S3. That's why it is creating a version. Amazon doesn't know that the previous file which you have uploaded with the file underscore name underscore one as a name, and again you uploaded the file with file name as file underscore one name has same data or not, and it is not going to check that content. Right now it's a small file. What if you are uploading 1 GB, 2 GB, 10 GB data of a single file? It just creates multiple versions. That's it. Clear about versioning as of now? Now I will show you one more thing. Can you see this button here? Was this button present previously? Did you observe that this button was present previously? Let's go to bucket, our old bucket. If you see here, this button is not present. Why? Because on this bucket, versioning is disabled. As soon as versioning is enabled on the bucket, you will get an extra option here. So go to the bucket. This is my bucket, and here you will see a button, a radio button. If you click on the radio button, here it will show you all the versions of the file. Why they keep on changing the GUI? Okay. Now if you click on off button, you will see only type, last modify, size and storage class. If you click on the radio button, now you will see that hierarchy of the file, hierarchy of the version of the given object. That this object has three versions, previous version 1, 2 and 3, and this file has two versions, and here is a version ID. Now if you switch off this radio button, you will not able to see the version ID. That means you will always see the latest version on the bucket here. And if you want to access the previous version, either you can click on the radio button and click on that particular version ID. Then you will be navigated to the version ID of that particular object, or you can directly access from the object versions. Okay. So what radio button does, it will show you all the files or all the version of the files. All the versions of the files. Click. Clear? Any question till this point? Any question till this point? Hmm. Yeah, versioning is otherwise if versioning is hmm, if you disable the versioning, that means you are uploading the if you upload the file, it will going to override it. It will delete the previous version, and it will only have only one file. Why versioning now? Why this feature is given to you? That's the important thing to understand. Why versioning is important in the industry. Now this is right now everything is good. Now something in the morning, this file was updated. Let's say this is the latest, as you can see, this is the latest version, and you run this file in production. You send this file in production. Yesterday everything was working fine. Yesterday this was a version of the file which was active. Let's say this version was perfect, it was working fine, absolutely fine. And today you release some new thing. Okay, so you override the file, and now system is taking this latest version, and something goes wrong. Okay, because of some issue with the file, your production is not able to read this file, or so there's some issue. So what you want to do, you want to roll back. How can you do that? If you delete this thing, it will delete the complete object. If you just click here, I will show you that as well. Okay, so what you want to do, you want to roll back to previous version. If you go click here, if you click on the version, what you want, you want to make this object, this version as active now. Currently this is my active, right? And this contains some problem, this file, this version of the file having some problem. So you want to roll back to the previous version, and you want to make this version active. Yes or no? That is my task, right? Agree? And anybody has any question on this? Okay, अभी मेरा ये एक्टिव है, और ये जो एक्टिव वर्जन है उसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू डू, आई वांट टू रोल बैक. रोल बैक का मतलब मेरे को प्रीवियस वर्जन पे जाना है. So previous version के जाने का मतलब in computer terms you want to make this version active. How can we do that? तो current version जैसे यहाँ पे लगा है, अगर इस पे लग गया तो वो एक्टिव हो जाएगा, है ना, in layman terms. So what we can do, there is no feature like click on the object and make it active. ऐसा कोई feature नहीं है. There is no feature like click on the any version and make it active. What you have to do? You have to delete the version, not object. You have to delete the version copy of that object. So click on the version, because this is the version I don't want. Go to the action and there is no option. Okay, here you can see the delete, right? Click on a particular version. So now I'm not deleting object, I'm deleting a version of that object. So you can see now permanent delete. Okay, now you will observe that here a version ID is populated. Go to the other bucket, the old bucket without versioning. This is my bucket without versioning. If I delete this object, now you can see there is no version ID. But if you go here, it is showing the version ID. Why? So to make you aware that you are just deleting a single version of the object, not complete object. You're getting, you can verify the version ID as well, that you are deleting proper version ID or not, and delete. Now what will happen? You can see the first version has been deleted. So the object URL means this object will is pointing to this version. What is the content of this version? Let's copy and paste on the URL. It contains two files. Simple. Just deleting the version will roll back to the previous version. Deleting the current version, so it will roll back to previous version. You can't roll back to any other version. You have to sequentially delete versions. So delete the latest, it will roll back to the second latest. Delete the second latest, it will roll back to third latest, and so on. Getting? How can we roll back? Yes or no? Simple. If you click here as well, you can see two versions of the file. This is a version ID and so on. Now I have shown you how you can create a version of the file or object. How can you roll back to previous version of an object? Is these two things clear to you? How can we roll back to previous version of the object? Click on the object, go to the version, just delete the version ID which has a tag called current version. So it will roll back to the previous version. So if I want to roll back to this version, delete this version. You can do this here from here, as well as you can do from here as here. Click on this button. Okay, I will show you that in again. Go to the object, go to the version, click on the object current version tag object and delete it. Done. So here the object will point to the latest, that is this. Now this become latest, right? The object with this tag. Now, how many version of this file is there now in the system? Only one. You can see. Is it clear? इतना समझ आया? How can you roll back? Now, you can't undo this operation. Huh? You have deleted the individual version. You will not able to recover individual version. You will not able to recover individual version. Clear? Now, what if somebody accidentally delete this file and you want to recover? Can we do that? Object, complete object. Let me upload one version again with the 2 lines only. Yes. Okay. So this object has 2 versions now. Now what will happen if I click here and delete? What will happen if I delete from here? There is no. I'm not selecting any version. I'm just selecting the object. That's it. हमने individual object के version डाके delete करे थे. Now what will happen here if I click on here and delete? Now you can see it is not saying permanent delete. It is just saying delete. Sometimes it says permanent delete. Sometimes it says delete. Okay, this is deleted. Are you able to see the file? Or are you able to see the object? What do you think? It is deleted or not? Click on radio button. The file is there with a new version as delete marker. So, it agree, or you can say it has uploaded a new file with the same name, tagged this as a delete mark. Now, what is delete marker in general? What is delete marker? It is just like you moving your file to a recycle bin. It, it is similar to when you delete a file in your local system, you have two options, right? Permanent delete or delete. What happens when you click on delete? Does it make you move your file from your system to recycle bin? No. It just add a tag on your file. जब भी आप कोई फाइल डिलीट करते हो ना लोकल सिस्टम में भी, अगर आप यहाँ पे कोई भी फाइल डिलीट करते हो, राइट, इफ यू क्लिक ऑन डिलीट, if you click on delete, so what you will say, it will move to recycle bin, right? यहाँ पे आनी चाहिए फाइल. So it is not like that the file will move from here and it will move to the recycle bin. ऐसा नहीं होता. It's not like that. When you delete the file, so when you delete the file, a tag is added on this file. Let's say delete marker. So all the files which has a delete marker will go to your recycle bin. It will show here. It will not move the file. It never moves the file. It just shows the file in the recycle bin. Similarly, in S3, same concept. When you delete a file, okay, if you click on delete any file, it not actually deletes. When versioning is enabled, it not actually deletes the file, rather it create a new version of the file. You can see the version ID, and if you check the size, I will show. Click on yes, here. If you, what do you think the size should be of this new tag? It is 0 byte. It is 0 byte. So in, you can assume that Amazon is uploading a file with the same name with 0 byte and which has a tag called delete marker. Any file with a delete marker will not show in general. If you click switch off the a radio button, it will not show you in your console. If you want to show which files are, or show all the files, click on radio button. So कोई भी file with delete marker will not show in general. Clear? समझ आया? Now, what do you have to do? If you want to delete the file completely, delete all the versions. In reality, if you want to delete the file, you have to delete individual versions. If you're just deleting the object like we did previously, it will create a delete marker. Now, second thing, what if you have accidentally deleted the file? You didn't want to delete the file, you have accidentally deleted the file. Click on the radio button. What we did previously, we have just deleted the how to roll back to the previous version. Similarly, we can do here. This is a version of the file. Delete marker. I want to roll back to this version. Agree? So delete this particular version of the object. If you click here, it will show the version ID and type delete marker. And now you can see permanent delete. That means you will not able to recover this file again. Delete. So what will happen? It has rolled back to the previous version which doesn't contain the delete marker. So now you can see the file is available to you. Is it clear? Now what is delete marker? If you delete a file, Amazon's create a new version of that file as a delete marker tag, and that file will not be available in general. If you want to access that file, you have to click on show all versions. Clear? If you want to delete everything in your bucket, if you are just deleting like this, so it is not actually deleting. अगर आप ऐसे file delete कर रहे हो without selecting the version, so that means your file will go to recycle bin type of funda here, and a delete marker will be added to your file. Clear? And if you want to actually delete all the files, so you have to select individual version of the file, click all the files, and then delete. So you have to delete individual versions. Then only that object will be deleted. So now you can see permanent delete. If I put permanent delete, clear. Now my bucket is empty. Nothing is there. So when a version is enabled on the bucket, you have to delete individual version of the file to make that object delete from your bucket. Question? Any question on this? Now why versioning is there? Simple. To recover to previous version. Simple. To have a backup. Do you have to pay for the previous backup files? Yes. All the versions files will be charged. If you are creating more versions, more files will be created, and accumulated data charge will be applied on S3. Accumulated file size charge will be files accumulated data, that is all the files will be aggregated together. This file size will be calculated, and then charge will be applied. For any question? Yeah, it is stored in S3 bucket, right? It is available for you to use. Individual file yeah, all the versions. So in S3 number of file doesn't matter. how much volume of the data you are putting. That matters. Yes. And you can create a number of version of the object. There is no limit of creating the version. Amazon doesn't charge you for creating the version. Amazon just charge you for keeping the data. So the more version you create, the more the version you create, the size of that each file will be calculated. It doesn't matter you create 100,000, 10,000 version of the same file. Amazon will add all will while billing they will treat that each version as an individual object and will calculate it. Clear? Why versioning is important? And in your company, should you enable the version or not? Yes. Amazon recommend you to enable the version on the bucket so that if anything goes south, anything, you can always roll back to previous version. And this is an industry standard. You might have seen that there was an outage recently in Microsoft. They were uploading some new authentication and it didn't work. So what they did, they roll back to previous version, the stable version. Same thing goes with S3. The data which you are using or the file which you are using, now you have modified the file and the modified file is not working as expected. So what you do? You roll back to previous stable version of the file. Does it make sense? Delete marker. Delete marker basically means if you delete the object, object is not actually deleted. The Amazon will create a version of the object and add a tag on delete as a delete marker. Delete marker is will be hidden, will hide the file in general. So if you want to delete all the if you want to actually permanently delete the object, click on radio button, select all the version of the file, all the version, and delete. So basically, after versioning is enabled, you have to delete individual version of the file. Now one thing, this is a very common mistake. One of the student came to me and he said that sir, in the billing I'm getting some charges for S3. He went to billing and he checked that for simple storage he was getting some charges, something like this. And he shown me the console. He clicked on his bucket and he was saying that sir, there is no file. Amazon is cheating me. There is no file in my bucket. And still Amazon is charging. Why? He didn't click on the show button, radio button. Right? He deleted the object. That means a delete marker was added on the file. So file was hidden. Got it? समझ आया? Scenario क्या होता है? So yes, the delete marker was added on the file. Na? He didn't deleted the versions of the file. All the version. Yes. Agree. Agree. समझ आया? So if you have enabled the versioning on the bucket, click on the radio button to check, to verify is there any files with a delete marker, and then delete all the versions of the file if you want to clean your bucket. Because if you just delete the object, it is not going to delete from your bucket, it will add a delete marker. समझ आया delete marker का concept? किसी को नहीं आया तो बताइए. You have to do the practice. This is the assignment. You can see the assignment of versioning. You can try it out. Okay, recover the delete marker, appending the file, and so on. Question? Anything? That is a beautification of versioning in S3, and Amazon is creating the version for you. Just imagine, in industry, again it becomes a challenge. What was the last version of the file? Should I increment the file? What is the latest version? How can we create the versioning? Or GitHub is generally do the same thing, right? It creates a different version of your files. How many of you know Git, or how many of you don't know the Git? What is Git? Okay, Priyanka, I think you you are working. What is GitHub, guys? Git is a tool. Git is a concept where basically in industry, whatever the code is there, it is either on Git. It's generally on the Git. There are different companies like GitHub, uh, Bitbucket, Bitbucket or Gitbucket, and there are so many. Is a GitLab. So there are multiple companies which support Git. What is Git? It is a versioning tool. So whenever you upload your data, so you can preserve your files. Each company preserve their code in GitLab, Git generally. So the what is good example here? Yeah, this is version of the files are there. So all the version of your data is preserved in Git. All the version. So you are uploading your files, you are changing your data, but previous version is always preserved. Hi, hi, Simam. Yes. Uh, Tomorrow S3 will be completed, Simam. Hmm. 30 to 30, yeah. 30 to 40, between 30 to 40. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Somebody was asking about Git. I think. Yeah. No, no, no. In Git, it is a general. Every company use, not by Amazon. GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket are these things to store their code. This is a code repository software in general. So you might have yes. So basically, uh, you are a developer, right? You want to store your code, your local system. It's again cloud type of things for putting the code, right? So every company has a Git repository. I don't want to log in. I just want to show somebody's code repository. Mhm. Okay, I might have some. Link saved. Hmm. Ah, actually it's a code repository. You can see all the codes are there. Okay, here you can see the files. You don't upload the data in general. It's a file. It's a code, not actual data. Here, so every company, I'm saying every company puts their code in Git. So there are a couple of companies like GitLab, GitHub, Bitbucket, which provide these things. Same thing. So why this is required? Let's say today your local system goes down, your company's ecosystem completely go down, complete failure. So you still have a code available to the third. It's a third party. Okay, that's in general. Many it comes with free tier. It comes with different things. This is the other thing. I'm not going in detail. Just read it out. But same thing goes with S3. You are creating a version of your file. Even Amazon provide the Git uh, code commit. This is same as GitLab. Gi- Okay, this is another service. It's not in part right now. It is again a repository in cloud in AWS. Same thing, which was provided by GitHub, GitLab. Amazon is also providing a code repository. This is for code. S3 is for data. There's a difference between data and code. Clear? Okay. Even though Amazon provide Git code commit, still many companies use GitHub, GitLab because already they have integrated from very long time. So that's why. Yeah, this is about GitLab. Sorry, versioning, and yeah, one topic. I can take that thing. Yes. Is it clear right now? What is versioning? I don't want to rush to the final topic here, and that is lifecycle rule and replication rule. It will take hardly 10 minutes. I can take tomorrow. And the final thing is storage gateway. It's a very theoretical topic, and I will cover this tomorrow. Last topic is remaining, final, and one lab for you, small lab. AWS storage gateway. I don't know why they have kept it in the syllabus. It's very rarely used nowadays, but still it's there. Okay, I'm stopping the recording here. Any question, any doubt, please let me know.